Hi everyone, welcome once again to the 45th episode of Riding Tiger with Arijit Bhattacharyya. As you all know, Riding Tiger is a very simple concept. It's about people who start their journey on their own and they start their venture on their own. And sometimes they run a family business, sometimes they run a large corporate, couple of times they start as a professional. In all these cases, we have a gap of understanding the life that it's basically ever-ending journey. Now, this never-ending journey always starts with a risk. If you stop, you feel that there is a fear factor, your business will probably stop and it's going to kill you. So your rider, it's your baby, it's your understanding how you're going to feed it. When it's a cub, you usually start it with probably milk as a feeding material. Eventually, it becomes big, it becomes strong, and you keep feeding it with meat. So it's a complete different kind of structure when you start your venture. You run your businesses, you recruit people, you have your C-level executives, and then you make a leadership team, and with that team, you run your tiger. And guess what? Today, I have got an amazing gentleman running multiple ventures in few different places across the world. Mr. Suresh, welcome to Riding Tiger with Arijit. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Arijit. I'm good to go.
Super. Sureshji, I have heard about your long journey of your life, how exactly you have started. Of course, definitely I read all the details, but for the sake of the audience, if you kindly share about your life journey, how did you start your life and what is your ethics in your life that you made it so far so good, please?
I think, I'm a self-made management person or entrepreneur or both, as it were, over the years. So, I was born into a middle-class family. So all the middle-class values, ethics were imbued in me. So I did my university education in Mumbai or Bombay at that time, and then went abroad on fellowships and scholarships to the US, subsequently on a banking fellowship to the UK, and so on. So my career has been largely in project finance, banking, financial services until 2012. Interestingly, as I became a CEO in a banking group, I was rewarded, with senior positions, directorships, on the basis that I was an entrepreneur, Namely, I was setting up institutions for the group, which was Emirates REIT Group, a leading group with whom I spent 27 years. And prior to that, I went to Dubai to raise money for then ruler of Dubai, who personally owned, along with the government of Dubai, many of the industrial projects that were being set up. So even there, it was a little bit of an entrepreneurial journey because you were setting up everything from scratch. But first, before setting up, you need to make sure that there was a financial close. And so we raised $1.8 billion. The Prime Minister put in $500 million, and then the projects became viable. It was transferred to the government of Dubai, and 5 years later, I was getting a little bored of being in the industry in terms of projects, etc. I wanted to get back into banking, which was my core strength. And as luck would have it, some of the banks were in difficulties, and the government of Dubai approached me and said, can you be part of the team that's put these banks together? Restructure them and integrate them, merge them effectively. And so I was part of 5 acquisitions, 5 mergers, 5 integrations, depending on what you call it, because the bank grew organically into a financial services group. I made it a much more diversified financial services group with multiple income streams so that it was not just banking, pure commercial banking, but it had a diverse investment banking, asset management, custody, and a whole lot of other related financial services, including the very first listed real estate company, which was spun off from projects that we were involved in. So it's been an interesting journey, entrepreneurial, until 2012, when I decided that I would buy off from the bank one of the companies that I had set up for them, which was focused on India. And so I converted that into a mini financial services group. So it's an NBFC in India regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. And then I have an investment company here with the approval of the Ministry of Economy in Dubai. So I straddle the two geographies, and my family, comprises a daughter and a son. Daughter is currently in Singapore. She's an American citizen. My son is in India. He's in Coimbatore, which is what takes me there practically every other month. And so my wife sort of commutes between the two geographies. So that, in a nutshell, is a quick sum up, Arijit.
Brilliant, brilliant. You know what, to be very honest, I mean, when you started your journey, I was not there even. Like I'm 41 at the moment, and I can see that you have over 45 years of experience, and you were an SBI manager probably in 1972, as per my memory goes when I read about your bio. And then
yes,
you were there till 1979. Now, from SBI manager towards now, probably you are managing the fund of funds, Evolvence Capital, if I'm not wrong. That is your there you are a board member, including lot many other banks and financial institutions you are. So, as a tips towards the people. By the way, there is a great connection between you and me. Probably two common things. I'm also from economics background. I did my graduation in economics, and I did my master's in MCA, which is of course in computer science. And
yes,
we both are probably from Rotary, as a Rotary family. I didn't knew about it, but when I read your bio, I thought that I'll reveal that fact once we meet in the Zoom call. So as a tip, coming back to the question, as a tips, whoever is starting their life as a financial professional, maybe in some bank, maybe in some other financial institutions, what is your 3 key tips for them to grow their career?
I think, first of all, you must have a strong work ethic. Ultimately, your contribution, your performance is what is being watched continuously. And as the company grows, or as the bank grows, as a financial institution grows, you grow with it. So you can grow ahead of the bank, you can grow ahead of the company if you were really, and you can be right at the top, in terms of the top of the tree, in a fairly short time. Age these days is no longer a barrier to growth. What is, in terms of the mindset, I think apart from work ethic is your ability, your teamwork. You need to carry a team. Often you're only as good as the team that you build, and that helps you to execute matters efficiently. Thirdly, you need to align yourself fully with the strategy, policies, and the best practices in your company. Not only align with it, but improve it as you go along and align it with global best practices. So it's a continuous learning experience. So as you grow from one level to another, it's a continuous learning experience. And those who learn quickly and grasp and pick up the threads of success, and there'll be challenges. This is never going to be, all hunky-dory. It's going to have issues where that will get the better of you, in terms of, especially in terms of in a bank or a financial institution, risk management. You need to be able to anticipate the risks, manage the risks, monitor them, mitigate them, measure them, because without measurement, there is no management effectively. And, address them effectively where the risk becomes an opportunity to grow. The risk becomes an opportunity to scale up in terms of both quality and size, and be part of that growth journey. And that is always a very fulfilling journey. There's a lot of talk about work-life balance, but I'm always reminded of what Noel Coward said. He said, work is more fun than fun. So I'm not a workaholic, but I can't put up my feet and look at the sunset for more than 20 minutes. So that gives you, you need to have the drive, to succeed. And that's the reason why after I retired at the age of 62 as a late age entrepreneur, I set up my first financial institution. I set up my first fund, as it were, focusing alternative investment fund, a private equity fund, focused again on SMEs, focused on finding other entrepreneurs on whom or to whom you provide growth capital, you provide mentoring services, you provide advice if they will take it, and you make sure that they grow on the lines of what your investors and your shareholders and your stakeholders expect, because they all want to be part of the growth journey. And I think that's where it becomes an absorbing, if you like, affair with your pursuits. And you choose your pursuits carefully so that you don't see them as an occupation or a job. You see them as an interesting opportunity.
True. Totally agree. In that perspective, if I may ask you one question, how do you define a great team? Because it's not that easy for a newcomer in the market to understand how to create their team. They often mix it with employee versus team making. In my opinion, team are those people who can take bullets for you. They are in the same vision, same line, same understanding, working with probably optimizing each other's weaknesses. But sometimes we mix up with things. So your opinion, your suggestion about how to create a great team.
I would start by saying it is a very difficult proposition. It's not easy to build a great team, but you need to proceed on the basis that a great team will have to take ownership of the business. So you can't be too hands-on yourself. They will make mistakes and you need to guide them and be there along the way. So it's a journey. Building a team is a journey, just like many other things in life and in businesses. And in that journey, you need to carry them with you. You need to reward them. You need to retain them. You need to respect them. And quickly assess the gaps that they have and try to minimize those gaps, try to address those gaps, try to remedy those gaps along the way. And you will inevitably make some mistakes, and your course correction needs to be quick on that take. You need to realize, and I think that is that comes intuitively from experience. You need to realize that you're picking a team member who may not be a leader. He may be a great work person. He may be someone who can deliver on his own superb results, but he would not be able to carry the team or lead the team. And so you need to quickly make out who are the leaders and who are the essential backbone, So you need both. You can't have all leaders, you can't have all stars in the team, because then there will be inevitable clashes, ego clashes, expectations, etc. You need to manage those expectations as well. And, it's a bit of a trial and error, but if you have been an entrepreneur, if you have been an entrepreneur, if you have sufficient gray hair on the head, you will realize who will make it, or who are winners and who are likely to be passengers along the way in the journey, and who will be the drivers of the businesses, etc. So I think the answer is constantly infuse talent and energy into the business, while respecting experience and relevant experience as much. So it's a balancing act. You need to have as many young people with energy and enthusiasm and the ability to think out of the box as you need the good old, the tried, trusted, depending on the position involved. You don't want a compliance person who is very venturesome. You don't want somebody on the risk side who is a little risky himself. He proves to be a risk himself. So that's a question of putting, the right horses in the right places, or the round hole in the round hole, round square, not a square in a hole, etc. So I think it's a matter of getting there, but all businesses will require great teams, and that's where sometimes I get a little miffed, because good people that you have grown, leave often thinking that their growth lies elsewhere. And so that means you have either in terms of the individual's personality mix or trait, picked up the wrong trait, a person with the wrong trait, or that's not a stable, team building. If there is frequent turnover or attrition in the team, then there must be a shared blame. It's not just that people are leaving because they want to leave, but sometimes you are not sensitive to their requirements. So it's a mix of intellectual, emotional, and very practical assessment all combined together. I'm still learning, every day of the week. So that's a quick answer for you.
This actually comes from the wiseness. There are layers and levels of life, and I can completely relate to it the way you are explaining it. It is completely coming from a vast experience and the wiseness. It's not easy the way you are explaining. Okay, let us shift a little bit from a little bit of heavy discussion towards something called life, which is beautiful, and we all are enjoying that. So I usually go for a rapid fire round. I'll be asking you a few bit of words. Depending on that word, whatever comes in your mind, you can share. Are you ready?
Sure.
Super.
Shoot. Yeah. Tough. Toughness is necessary in a leader, because toughness means that you make the right choices. Toughness means that you make difficult decisions. Toughness also means that you're fair and reasonable. You can't be a tough person who is an obstinate person. Obstinate toughness and fair and reasonable toughness marks a leader from a dealer.
Relax.
So, I think relaxation is absolutely vital, and related to relaxation is stress. So often I used to say as a CEO that I give stress to people. I don't take stress because I have the innate ability to step away and relax and get back with certain amount of focus. If you're not sufficiently relaxed from time to time, your focus will not be sharper.
Life.
life is what you make of it, and life is what comes along the way. You grab the opportunities, you could miss the opportunities, you could take the right turn or the wrong turn. But whatever turn you take, you make the best of it. And I think that positive, toughness to stay the course is what is needed.
Super. Coming to the last part of Riding Tiger, I usually ask this question to everyone. Imagine there is a park, and in that park, the weather is fine, it's sunny, breezy, beautiful, lot of greeneries, but there is only one single bench. And if I ask you to sit there with someone, it can be 2 persons, it can be 3, it doesn't matter. Whom would you like to sit with? It can be your metaphor, like it can be maybe your past life, it doesn't matter. Whom would you like to sit with, and what kind of discussion you would love to have with that person?
I think I would like to sit with my wife because I often need time with her. She's, she's a wise person in my view because she reads a lot more than I read. So she supplements me. She's one person who is not afraid to tell me when I go off the rail. And so course correction, etc. So if it's a park and it's a nice ambience surrounding, beautiful, etc., I think she would certainly be one person that I would want to have next to me, because I don't spend as much time as I would like to with my family. Secondly, I would want a good friend, because a good friend puts you at ease, someone who's been a long-standing friend, and someone who, again, is not expecting anything from you. So you don't have to be on your guard. You don't have to be on your, looking out whether this is going to be another transactional relationship. With a wife and a good long-standing friend, it's not a transactional relationship. It's a friendly, cordial relationship, and that always relaxes you. And if the ambience is great, like a park, I would not only sit on the bench, but I would take them for a walk around the park.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know what? I always talk to many entrepreneurs, many executives who have got a lot of pressure in their life. And as an entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, people who have got work pressure, when they try to sleep, when they put their head on a cozy pillow, maybe in a comfortable bed with a beautiful room, sometimes they can't relax. The only reason is sometimes they don't know how to optimize themselves. And there are thoughts which usually comes in their mind, which they can't share with almost no one. So I always prefer and suggest anyone, maybe older than me or maybe younger than me, it doesn't matter, to have a very common group of people where you can relax at least. Share your thoughts. It can be only 2 people. That's more than enough. You need that. And the way you explained it, man, I'm blown. I'm blown with your answers. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your insights. I'm sure that many of you will get benefit and advantage by listening to this. And kindly keep commenting the way you're commenting. If you need any kind of support, any kind of connections, any kind of mentoring, probably if Sureshji says yes, we'll be more than happy to connect you with him. You can have enormous number of wiseness, as you can see. Thank you so much, Sureshji, for coming and sharing your insights and your life and all the tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd be happy to participate. Thank you.